Hi, Lisa.
Yeah?
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm one of the ER social workers. Do you mind if I come in for a second?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Just move my sweatshirt and you can sit over there in that chair.
Thanks. So, I wanted to stop in because I received a consult from your doctor, and he stated that he was a little bit concerned about your safety and that you were looking for a social worker.
Oh, yeah, he has to talk with a social worker because these doctors don't know how to talk to people, you know what I mean?
I hear you. I know it can be super frustrating, and I'm really sorry if you felt that somebody here wasn't listening to you or that you didn't feel valued. So, I'm sure you've had people in here nonstop.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I've been here since like 2 a.m. and it's now 10 a.m.
Have you slept at all since you've been here?
Nah, I don't really sleep when I'm in pain. Besides, these nurses are coming in every half an hour to check on me and bugging me.
Right. Yeah, I know a common complaint of the ER is that it's hard to recover when everything is so loud and busy.
Yeah, I guess it is what it is, but thanks for coming in to see me.
Yeah, of course. So, I looked back and read over some of the nurses' notes, but I personally like to hear stories firsthand if you're comfortable talking about, what brought you in here today.
Well, went out with my girlfriends for her 30th birthday, and we drank like a fifth of vodka, and I went home to my prick husband. It was just my typical bullshit, and everything just went downhill from there.
Right. So, when you say you're on your typical bullshit, like what do you mean by that?
It's like me saying I'm acting up, you know what I mean?
Right. I understand. But what does that look like for you?
It means I'm trying to go out with my girlfriends and we have a really good time, so I tend to take a shot or like 3 or 4 or 5. I get really messed up and then I don't know where I am, and then I end up getting angry at the world. I'm pissed off.
What makes you so angry?
I don't know. I'm just like in a bad mood about my life sometimes.
That's fair. Do you find yourself angry and drinking fairly frequently, like a few times a week, or how often?
Like definitely on the weekends, but it's probably like 3 nights a week. Gets me away for a couple hours, but afterwards things are just worse than when before I was drinking.
Right. What are you trying to get away from? Anything in particular?
My shitty ass husband, excuse my language, but he's a hater and he's jealous of me. He gets mad that I have a good job and that I make more money than him. He's the one who probably makes me drink.
I see. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your relationship with your husband?
Well, started off great in the beginning, of course. I met him when I was like 23, and now I'm 30. Hey, I call him my husband, but he's actually just like my live-in boyfriend, like my old man. That's what we call him. When we first met, I worked at a Wawa, and he worked under the table for a contractor. We would go on dates. Our relationship was fun. Then I went to CNA school, and I started making more money than him. I guess 3 years later, our relationship, he started acting jealous. He started taking my money, telling me where I can and can't go, and he became real controlling, gripping me up and stuff. He would sometimes punch me or throw me when he gets really mad. We would fight, and then he would always pull me back in, and things would be normal, and he'd be all real nice to me for a couple weeks. I don't know, I just hate him, but it's like we have been together for so long, and he's the reason why I have all these bruises up my friggin' arm. He fucked me up when I got home last night, so just because I came home drunk again.
Right.
Sorry for my language.
That's
again,
okay.
was Olivia, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're allowed to say what you want. It's all right. So, but it does sound to me like everything, just correct me if I'm wrong at any point, but it just sounds like everything started out normal and it was fine, and then sort of spiraled out of control when you started to support yourself and, like you said, you were doing well for yourself. So, and I also just want to point out and add that, regardless if you're drinking or not, nobody on this planet has the right to physically assault you like this. I just wanted to verify.
Yeah, I know. You got it. Now you know why I'm here, though. I came in with alcohol poisoning because I started puking up blood. At this point, I know I got a problem, but I also know I have an asshole husband, so it's what can I do here?
Right. Well, first of all, you should definitely be proud of yourself for even being able to, identify 2 issues within your life. So that takes a lot of courage to verbalize that you have a problem with the substance, and you also just verbalize that your relationship with your husband is unsafe. So I'm proud of you for that.
Well, does this mean you're going to make me do something about it now? Because I'm just talking about it, you know what I mean?
Well, I always say that you have the key to all of your locks. So let me ask you this. I'm really concerned about the bruises on your body and what you told me, what went down last evening, basically. have you ever made a police report in the past, or like would you consider making one now? Like, what are your feelings on that?
Well, I never did that before. Like, I feel like I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared to.
Right. I know it's a scary process, and you seem a little frightened by it, but and also you're an adult who has full capacity to make decisions, and I can't force you to do anything as a social worker. But maybe do you want to explore and talk a little bit about like why you feel that you can't report it?
Well, like, you don't seem like a rat or anything, but he's undocumented. You know what I'm saying? He came over here from Guatemala about a year before we started dating. And that's why he's working under the table, but continues to be an asshole because he thinks I'm not going to report him to anybody.
Right. So what I'm hearing is, correct me if I'm wrong again, but it sounds like you're protecting him so he doesn't get deported. Is that right?
Well, protecting him and myself. He sends money to his family in Guatemala every month, so I don't want to upset anybody, you know what I mean? Helps me pay my bills, too.
Right. That's a lot to carry, though. So I definitely admire your kindness and wanting wanting to help his family in Guatemala and making sure they're taken care of. But I guess another question I have for you is, what about you? You know, you're enduring a lot right now, and you're in a state of crisis in a way. So I worry about that, and I'm a little concerned about that.
I guess I'm just like getting used to it, but I'm getting sick of it.
Right. And, you know, it's also challenging when you feel like you're alone, or you feel like you have to do this on your own. So I know you said a little while ago that you, that you have friends and you like to go out with your friends. I said, but what about any other support in your life? Do you have anybody else? Like, what about family?
Well, I have 3 sisters. Sometimes I talk to them, but we're all living our own lives, you know, and they hate my boyfriend, so they're like, look, if you ain't going to leave him, like, quit telling us your problems, kind of thing, you know, they're sick of hearing about my bullshit.
Right. I have another difficult question. I know I'm full of them today, but I'm just trying to work through this.
Yeah, but at least you're nice, though.
So, have you ever thought about breaking up with your boyfriend or leaving him or living with a sister? Like, what do you think would happen if you did that?
Honestly, all day I've been thinking about calling my mom and maybe go live with her in Jersey. He doesn't know where she lives. And me and her haven't talked in 2 years, but she gave me an ultimatum, said either I leave him and move in with her or stay with him, and then she ain't going to talk to me until I leave him, you know, so I do love my mom now.
Yeah, well, it definitely looks like you just lit up a little bit when you spoke about her, so it appears that maybe she could be a positive support in your life.
Well, my mom's really strong, you know, like my dad was abusive and nasty and it took her like 20 years to leave him. I think I take after her in some ways, like, you know, that upsets her too. She gets frustrated with me and my choices and men because they seemed like they're just like her and my dad, you know, but I really miss her.
Yeah, she definitely sounds like a strong woman and that she's been through a lot, but she also raised a strong woman too, so. And I know abusive relationships, they can cycle through a lot of different generations. So it's like if that's what we see throughout our own childhood, sometimes that becomes like this norm. It's normalized, and it sets the path for our own lives. So I hear you. And something I admire about you is that you do a really good job at drawing connections within your life. So I know you said you miss her, so would you ever consider giving her a call?
Yeah, I got her number in my cell phone. Maybe it's time I give her a call.
Right. Well, if you want support or anything like that, I can leave, or I can sit with you and if you want to make the call.
No, you can stay just in case I try to chicken out.
Okay. All right. So now she calls her mom, and this is 25 minutes later.
Okay, I'm going to go stay with my mom. My boyfriend's not home from work till like 10 p.m. tonight. So once I get out of here, my mom and I are going to go try to get things from my apartment and get the hell out of here before he gets home.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good plan. But how are you feeling right now about that?
Nervous. Really nervous, but I need to get out of this situation.
Right. Well, this has definitely been a lot for you, and I can only imagine how you're feeling right now. I just want to be sure that I set you up with the resources that can ensure your safety going forward.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of shelters in the city, but you don't got to kill a bunch of trees to print out all the lists, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you always have a sense of humor. But I was going to give you some information on places in the city or New Jersey that specialize in women who have been involved in intimate partner violence. So I can print out some of that information regarding like safety planning. Does that sound interesting?
Okay, Miss Olivia, if you want to go kill some trees, give me that info, but I'll keep it in my handbag.
Will do. Okay. So I know as of right now, your safety and getting to your mom's house is like a #1 priority, and I respect that. But you mentioned earlier that you have a bit of a concern regarding alcohol. So would you like some information on rehabs in Jersey or support groups that you could go to? I know you have to do things one at a time, but I just want to send you with as much information to use, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that too. I just want to get away from him right now, and then I do want to try to get sober. So I will need some help for that too. If you got paperwork or whatever, kill some more trees.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, then I'll also include some information in your discharge packet. So it sounds like you have established a solid plan of action and that, that you're good to go.
I hope so. I'm like really nervous, but I'm glad you're sitting here. And I think I want to make that police report too. Like, can I do that with you before I go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.